Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome back to more on the channel. I'm Liz, and this is Pathfinder Kingmaker. This is a CRPG sort of based on the Pathfinder game system, which is itself based on sort of 3rd edition. I don't want to say third, because when we talk about D&D editions and we talk about 3rd edition, there's like 2 things that different people consider to be 3rd edition, and they have significant differences. Generally 3rd edition and 3.5 and whatnot. Pathfinder is sort of based off of that D&D system. So a few generations of D&D ago, basically. I wasn't really going to play this game because, first of all, I don't like 3rd edition or 3.5 very much. I feel that they took AD&D, which became 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons. So there was D&D, which is a very narrative, just story, like snap through. Like, let's get the story out. And you roll a d20 and you decide your stuff, and there's no complicated rule set. There's none of this stuff. It's all narrative. It's all get to the story. It's all have fun and whatnot. And then they had AD&D, which was like fantasy spreadsheets, basically, which I liked. I really did like that. I like fantasy spreadsheets. And then 2nd edition, which was based off of AD&D, which was fantasy spreadsheets extended, and then 3rd edition hit, and 3.5, and they, for all their differences, they were very much total min-max. Like, there was one right way to play 3.5 and 3rd edition, and everybody who played a different way was playing it wrong. And that's sort of what Pathfinder extended. That it's like, oh, there's one right way to play, and you're just gonna get your ass hammered into the ground, and you're just gonna get TPKs left and right if you don't play that way, is what Pathfinder sort of extended, in my view. I know there's a ton of Pathfinder aficionados out there who are gonna be like, Liz, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Fair enough. I accept your opinion on it, even though I don't know what yours necessarily is right now, but I accept it, and I'm not going to criticize you for your opinion on it. But that's sort of the reason I wasn't going to play this. But, you know, I was like, oh, let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna rock a new game here. We are going to play... So I've done some challenging mode. I've done some hard mode. I haven't done unfair mode. Basically, this game... Let's get a few things out of the way early here. This game is buggy, and this game is harsh. Not hard, harsh, because it is literally save scumming the game, and you can choose not to play that way, but then you're kind of like screwing yourself out of all kinds of content. Well, I guess you could say, oh, I'm not screwing myself out of all kinds of content. I could just play the game over and over and over and over and over again, and maybe I'll unlock that chest in my 60,000th playthrough of the game and see the Ring of Protection +1 in it. Yeah, okay, but honestly, this game is save scum the game. And we will probably be reloading a good number of saves. Let's get that out of the way first, guys. Normal mode is actually a little bit easier than the Pathfinder rule system would have it look like. And it's actually really easier once you factor in some mechanical things like the way flanking works and stuff like that. Even challenging mode is technically easier because of that. But I feel that normal mode is... They named the mode well. It's literally the best mode for playing the game and experiencing it without spending the entire time paused, without spending the entire time microing the abilities of every individual one of your people, which I don't want to deal with. I want to enjoy some good combat. I want to make clever use of abilities. I want to make clever use of builds and do all those kinds of things, but I don't want to spend 45 minutes fighting one bandit. Okay? I just don't want to. So we're going to play normal mode. We are going to be reloading some saves from time to time, guys. So if that's not your bag, then whatever. Kingdom management. The Kingdom game does very little to add to this game. There are benefits to the kingdom management thing, but it feels like it's just tacked on, and it's a shame because when the when the pen and paper version of Kingmaker was like sort of announced and you saw it and all those kinds of things, I felt like maybe I should play a Pathfinder campaign with people because this sounds really amazing, and then it turned out to be like so we're gonna play actually on easy kingdom management, which is not easy by any stretch. You still get very, very like annoying. It's basically the difficulty checks are a little bit lower on the events you have, but the same events are gonna fire. They're gonna hit you just as hard. The penalties are gonna be just as bad. It's gonna be just as difficult to rank up and all that stuff. You're just gonna succeed on a few more events, and we'll turn show tutorial off here. So, what kind of character are we going to play? Well, we're going to play a fighter, but we're not going to play sort of, there's a whole bunch of archetypes of fighter in D&D games, but like the two big ones that people think of immediately are like the sword and board kind of fighter, very tanky, very in your face, whatever, and the big two-hander Hulk smash kind of fighter. We're going to play something a little bit different. We're going to play a fighter who I'm thinking, I haven't 100% decided yet, but I'm thinking we're going to cross over. Okay, that's a new portrait that wasn't in the game. There's a few new portraits here. So the game updated earlier today, and it looks like some new portraits have been added. Anyway, we're not going to play like one of those fighters. We're going to play something that's a little different. I haven't decided yet if we're going to cross into rogue a bit. I think we will, so that we can gain access to sneak attack, because sneak attack is going to be really good for this build. This portrait was added just like a week ago. And then this one is new. This one here is new. Oh, this is the... They're getting ready for the DLC. They're preparing for the DLC. The DLC has this other race, and they're adding portraits for them. And it also has, the DLC also has a new class, like the Kinetic or something like that, I think is a new class. So they're getting prepared for that. What else is new? Any other new portraits here? Yeah, this guy is... Oh no, this guy was added the same time that this girl was added. No, that's it. Those are all the new portraits. Cool. We're not going to play with one of these portraits anyway. We're going to use a custom portrait, and I am just going to have to search through these to find which one I like. This is just a bunch of custom portraits I downloaded, and I have them sitting in a folder. I'll be back once we find what we want. All right, guys, this is what I'm feeling is us right here. Yeah, it's not quite right in the big picture. We've got this, I'm gonna call it a long sword. It's definitely at least a hand and a half sword. I'd have to actually see it in better proportions being held up. It might even be sort of like a small great sword. But I'm gonna call it at least like a bastard sword, you know, long sword, bastard sword, hand and a half sword kind of thing. That's not what we're gonna be using. But this is nice, like armored warrior, yes, standing over the battlefield with the blood of her enemies or her friends in her hands. Perfect, I like it. Okay, so that's going to be us. We are not going to be an elf, though. We are going to be... Oh, I don't own the DLC. Did they just give me the DLC? Is the DLC free? Because I should not have this race. I didn't think the DLC was out till next month. I don't get this, guys. I don't get it. Ooh, Fiendish Resistance, Tiefling Heritage. Okay, yeah, okay, I know these guys. I remember them. Anyway, we're not playing as one of them. We're going to be playing as... human. Definitely human. So humans gain... We're going to go over a little bit of character creation here. We're not going to spend like 45 minutes creating our character, but I'm going to go over a few details here. Humans get +2 to 1 ability score. So we've got your usual abilities like strength, dexterity, etc., etc., etc. Humans get to choose one and get 2 points in it, whereas other races, like for example elves, get 4 points. They get 2 in int, 2 in dex, and they lose 2 in con. So they're very good in that way. Aasimar get 2 points in 2 of their abilities and some bonuses, but they don't get many other things here. But Asimar are really good for maxing out your ability points, because these points up here are the most precious thing. Like they're the hardest thing to get. Feats, especially if you're a fighter, no big deal. But these you're never going to be changing. It's like in Blood Bowl, right? Where elf teams are really, really good, because elf teams might not start with any skills or whatever it is, any abilities, talents, whatever it is in that game, but they start with really high stat scores, like in particular high elves who start with 4 agility and whatnot. Like they're really good, because those are points that you don't usually get on people throughout the course of the game. Sort of the same thing here. Having high abilities is a pretty good thing. We're not playing ASMR though. We're going to play humans. They do start with an extra feat, and we're going to want some feats for this particular build. They're also skilled, so they're going to get an extra skill point every level up. That's cool too. We are definitely not that masculine, that's for darn sure. Let's take a look at our hair. The hair color is going to be something a little more gold. Are we like that? Are we like that, or are we like a little more golden? Almost feels a little more golden. That seems a little too plain. You know, I like that. That works. What is our hairstyle? Probably the first one. Yeah, actually our hairstyle. Ooh, that's interesting. Definitely, I don't think. Maybe if it was tied lower instead of like the top knot kind of thing. The high ponytail. No. I think, yeah, we're this first hairstyle. That's cool. Body type, we have you know, sort of thin, big, and very thin. Okay, so we'll be sort of normal. We're not even going to screw around with faces or skin tones or any of that stuff. I think this is good enough. It's not super duper customizable, but that is fair. And we'll be right-handed. That's cool. All right, so what we are going to be, we're going to be a fighter, and we're going to be a two-handed fighter. Our build, like our body shape is going to work for this. Don't worry. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. We're going to be a pretty beefy character here. Two-handed fighters, normally people build them with like an earth, what is it, an earthbreaker, like a greatsword or a great axe or something like that, and they beat the crap out of things in the front row and all kinds of good stuff and whatever and blah 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 blah. We are actually going to build a two-handed reach fighter. Think of it, if you're familiar with Battle Brothers, you know, you can have your front row of like sort of melee characters, and then you can have somebody behind them with a reach weapon like a pike or a billhook or like a long axe or something, and they can actually reach over the heads of their buddies and hit people 2 tiles away from them. That's sort of what a reach character can do in Pathfinder and D&D and all that kind of stuff. If we have a pole arm like a reach weapon, we can actually be behind our buddies who are in front of us and hit the things in front of them and exert threatening zones on the stuff in front of us so that we can get attacks of opportunity and sneak attacks and all those kinds of things on people that we aren't directly adjacent, because sneak attacks in this game happen if you're flanking something, or if something is flanked, rather. You don't flank things in Kingmaker here. They get flanked by you. Like, it's not a variable that's like, you are flanking this person. It's a variable on the person being flanked that says, I am flanked. So if that particular unit is flanked, then you get sneak attacks on them if you have access to the sneak attack ability. I think if they're flat-footed, you might get sneak attacks as well. I'd have to review these rule set things. But obviously if they're flanked, you're going to get sneak attacks, which means that since there's always going to be somebody with a big shield in front of us, we will always be able to get sneak attacks on people. So just taking two-handed fighter, yeah, sure, we take two-handed fighter, we get 20 levels in this, we get access to weapon mastery, oh my goodness, it's so good, blah blah blah, some fighter feats, we get strong grip, which I don't actually care about. I really don't care about it. We lose devastating blow, which does hurt. potentially, depending on how many ranks we take. If we took a single rank of rogue, then we get 1 sneak attack, plus we take accomplished sneak attacker, we're going to get a second sneak attack dice. Nah. If I take rogue, I think I'm going to take 5 whole levels of it. So we will lose access to everything after level 15 of fighter. Level 15 of fighter happens to be where you get greater power attack, and then we lose 3 feats, which we're going to get anyway, because we're going to get the rogue combat tricks for them. Like, the rogue has things in those positions anyway. We're going to lose 1 level of two-handed weapon training, so that's going to be 1 less on our attack rolls, which isn't that bad. Strong grip, and then the biggest thing, devastating blow, and then weapon mastery. I mean, whatever. It's good. It's good, believe me, especially with the weapon I'm planning on using. Weapon mastery is really good because it increases the critical damage multiplier, and our weapon is going to crit a lot, guys. I'm just going to tell you that right now. But by taking rogue, if we do it, we're going to get sneak attack, and if we take 5 levels, we're going to get 3 levels of sneak attack. And then if I take accomplished sneak attacker as a feat, I'm going to get a 4th sneak attack dice. So that's going to be 4d6 of sneak attack damage. That's not, I mean, it's not huge, but if we look at the Eldritch Scoundrel, they only get 5 sneak attack die in their entirety. Like, at level 19, they get their 5th sneak attack die. And if they have accomplished sneak attacker, that's going to give them 6. But they don't have rogue combat tricks, so they're not going to be able to get, like, that's these things here, right? Yeah, rogue talents. Oh, they do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5 of them instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. That's insane. So they're not going to get a lot of fighting ability. So yeah, I'm totally fine with 4 sneak attack dice. I think that's going to be really good for our build. We're not losing a ton off of two-handed fighter to get that, so I'm okay with that. But I don't think if we do take rogue, we'll take the rogue archetype. Rogue proficiencies, they're not going to matter. We're going to have proficiencies in fighter stuff. Trap finding, I don't actually care about that. We're going to have somebody dedicated to that kind of thing. And weapon finesse, which we're definitely not going to use. We have evasion. We have our rogue talents, that's fine. Finesse training, I don't care. Danger sense, I don't care. Uncanny dodge is okay. I think what we're going to do is take thug, in which case we're still going to get uncanny dodge. We're not going to get danger sense, which doesn't matter to me. We're still going to get finesse training, which sucks. Like, we're just going to have to take this in some weapon we're never going to use. Finesse training lets you substitute your dex score in place of your strength score to attack with light weapons, like little weapons, the kinds of weapons that rogues would normally use. But we're never going to want our dex score subbed because our strength is always going to be better. So we'll just take that in some weapon type that we'll never use, and that'll be fine. We have evasion, yeah, we have evasion. But the reasons that we want to take thug is because we gain access to brutal beating. If we decide to use it, we get to forego one of our sneak attack dies to give it to make the target sick when we beat them. Also, frightening successfully uses persuasion to demoralize a creature. The duration of the shaken condition is increased by 1 round. So this is static effect warfare, guys. We're going to be hitting them from behind the front line using things like dazzling display and applying status effects and getting frightening. Yeah, you know what? Potentially, we can choose to do this. We could choose to activate brutal beating. I think that's going to work out real well for us. The only question is, do we take that at level 1? Hells no, we don't take that at level 1. We're going to begin as a two-handed fighter. Alright, let's pick some colors here. What color should our two-handed fighter's gear be? Let's have like black, and that is totally the wrong color I chose there. Let's do like black with white trim, something like that. Sure, why not? It's not going to be relevant after like level 1 anyway, because we're going to have armor over it. But, you know, whatever. Alright, two-handed fighter, let's do this. So we're going to be starting out a little bit slow as a two-handed fighter here because of the weapon that I want to use. It's gonna start us an entire feat behind. So we're going to pick our racial bonus into strength. And you have a 25 ability point buy in this game. 25 ability points is the high end. That corresponds to what I think the original manual called... Epic Fantasy, 20 point. Most people play with a 20-point buy, and it's like independent paper, and it is called High Fantasy, I believe. I have always preferred, if you're going to do a buy system, 25 points. Like, unless you're going to do some cheatsy doodle thing where you're going to give them more points, like 5, or not 5, like just more attributes, not these, more ability points over the course of the game, like up leveling to 20, like you're just going to give them for something, like, hey, this here's an elixir, you can gain however many permanent points or whatever, then I'm like, no, play with 25. Because you want, by the time they finish, to feel like God. You want the party to feel like they could challenge a god. And it doesn't feel like that in high fantasy 20-point systems. Anyway, 12 points in strength. We are going to hammer that up to max. The most points that you can put in a stat is you can get out to 18, even if you have points left over. Like, we could tank all of these and we would not be able to put more in. The highest you can go is 18, but you can put your racial bonus into it as well to bring it up. So we're going to start with literally the best we can for every couple points we have here. So for every 2, so at every even section, we get a new modifier amount. So having odd numbers here doesn't help you as much as you would think. We're going to get +5 for having 20. If we had 19, we'd have +4. If we had 18, we'd have +4. Especially for two-handed fighters, using the weapon we're going to use, or any two-handed weapon, you want to have an even modifier because you add half rounded down of your modifier extra to your damage. So instead of just adding 4 to our damage, we would add 6 to it. But if we had this, we would only add 1 extra, so it'd be 4 we'd be adding then. So it's a break point from 4 up to 6 damage just by moving it up there. But yeah, no, we're gonna go 5. That's gonna be our initial modifier. That's also gonna be on our hit die. We're going to increase our Sexterity up to 12. Reason we're only going to 12 on our Sexterity is because we're going to be wearing some heavy armor. Heavy armor has a full plate has only 1 Dexterity is allowed to transfer through to your AC on it. So you can see our AC is 11 here. If we have 10 points, our AC is 10. So for every 2 points here, you would get a new modifier. Your modifier for Dex is added to your AC over here. It also goes into your reflex saves, so Dex modifier becomes your reflex save until you have modifiers on that as well. The reason we are going to... This is interesting. They say the two-handed fighter's biggest things are going to be dexterity and constitution. Am I still listed as... Yeah, persuasion, knowledge, lore, nature, knowledge, world, athletics. That is definitely the two-handed fighter. Okay, for some reason they don't list strength as a thing for them, but it is absolutely the most important stat here. So I don't know what's going on with this, but whatevs. Anyway, we're going to take 12 Dex because Dex is what's going to get us our 1 extra AC here, because we're going to be wearing full plate. We only get to take advantage of 1 point from our Dexterity. We can't take advantage of more, so that's all we are going to need. Con, we can get up to 14 right now. That's okay. How many points here do I think I need? I don't think I need that many points, guys. We could tank this down to like 8. We'd only get 2 points. We definitely are going to be taking Persuasion, and then we're going to need to take something else. We could take Athletics. You know what? Let's put that back up for now. If we were to take Persuasion, Athletics, and like, let's say Lore Nature so that we can hunt, how could we make that work? We don't want to tank Wisdom because Wisdom gives us will saves, and Wisdom is pretty good. I would love to have myself some more stuff here though, so you know what, how about do we tank Lore Nature? I could tank Athletics. Somebody else could do Athletics for us. And we could take Lore Nature. I can tank Int. Okay, this is broken. No, it's not. Never mind. This is totally fine. Yeah, we're getting our 2 points. I already had them assigned. Okay. I would love to get like 16 con. That would be fantastic. Wisdom 10. I mean, 12 wisdom would be great. Can I afford to drop charisma at all to go up to 12 wisdom? I feel like I probably can. We're still gonna have persuasion of 3 just to begin with here, and we'll just keep pumping persuasion because we're gonna dump charisma just a little. I mean, that's acceptable, right? That's got to be acceptable. Do we actually even need 16 con? I mean, we're gonna be behind the front lines. Like, we could do that, guys. We could do that. You know what? Let's go a little bit further. Let's go all the way to 13 int. Now, odd numbers here are a little bit awkward because obviously they don't contribute to your modifier, and you're going to end up wanting to, you know, if we just go to 13 int, that means we could do something like that instead, and we can take the point in con. Yeah. That works for me. That way int is going to be at a even modifier because you only get half int towards your ability points. That works for me. So we're going to be really strong, but we're going to be about as, you know, approachable of a person. Like, look at her. Absolutely stunning, beautiful person, but covered in the blood of people. Just completely unapproachable by everybody. Just has no talent for the general pleasantries of society whatsoever, but is entirely capable of dominating a conversation. So not incapable of interacting with people, just incapable of like functioning as a like normal member of society. I like it. So we're going to be absolutely brutally strong. We're going to be a little dexterous. We're going to have a little bit of extra AC because of that, but no big dealio, yo. Do we actually need more? We might actually need more than that. I might need 13 dex. Man. That's really awkward. Okay. Well, I guess that's the way we go then, but I'm really never going to get that bonus. No. If I need 13 dex, whatever. We'll do something in the future. I don't remember what we need for dex there. I think we are going to need 13 int, though, in order to do some stuff here, so we're definitely going to take the int. Anyway, we're strong. We're a little dexterous. We're going to get that AC point. We can tank a little bit. That's nice to see. We have some intelligence. Damn it. We have some intelligence to get a few skill points here. We have enough wisdom that our will save isn't completely garbage, but we are absolutely unapproachable. We are athletic. We are going to know about nature. We are going to be able to persuade the crap out of people. Like, we're going to be able to dominate conversations. Should we be perceptive? I don't think so. Mobile? No. We'll just take knowledge of the world, so we could either cook or hunt when it comes to those kinds of things. Okay, good enough. All right, so immediately we need to do a few things here. First feat that we're going to take, and I told you we're going to be an entire feat behind, and this is why I wanted to be human, because of the weapon we're going to choose. We're taking exotic weapon proficiency, which I almost never advise anybody get, because exotic weapons are just not worth it. If you want a dwarven thing, be a dwarf. You get proficiency in dwarven weapons as a dwarf. If you want an elven curved blade, be a damn elf. You get proficiencies in elven weapons. But the reason that we're taking this is for what I consider to be the best two-handed reach weapon in the game, the Fashard. Yes. The reason I consider it to be the best two-handed reach weapon in the game is because it has an 18 to 20 critical range, which means if you roll either an 18, a 19, or a 20, you will crit with it. Most weapons in the game, you have to roll a 20 to crit. Some of them have a 19 and a 20. It only has a 2 times crit multiplier, but with the number of crits that you hit with this thing, it's good, yo. And in the pen and paper game, it also had the ability to trip people, I think, but I don't think that carried over here. Then, in order to start with a Fashard, because we want to actually start with one as well, we need to take a weapon focus in the Fashard. So we're going to get, not only are we going to start with 1, but we're also going to have a +1 bonus to attack rolls that we make on that. And then our third feat here is going to be power attack, because we need power attack to get into anything else. Power attack lets us do a little bit more damage by sacrificing a little bit of accuracy. But what we really need it to get into, we're not going to be able to see it right now. What we really need this to get into is cleave, and we're going to be going hard into cleave. Like cleave, cleaving, finish, greater, cleave, all the cleave. All the cleave. This is going to be the cleavage build. And then we'll get like some armor, armor focus and all that stuff as well as we go. Okay, yeah, we do. Combat expertise is int, not dex. So, I mean, if we wanted to do that, we could. Combat reflexes is really important for us. We can take that, no problem. So this build is going to be taking some of the teamwork things. So that we can work with the people in front of us, in particular Valerie. She's going to be like our sort of tanky person in front of us who, because she's a fighter, she's got lots of feats. I could put some teamwork feats on her too, and everything will be good in order to really, really shine. But for now, I think that's okay.
Follow if you dare.
Let's shred them!
Hold on. Just a little more.
This doesn't suit me.
I failed.
I like the reserved voice, but maybe not for us.
I lead, you follow.
No.
All according to plan.
This will hurt.
I'm wounded. Someone else would make better use of this.
No.
We won't falter. Let's move. I'm wounded.
No.
A trivial task. A mere flesh wound. I'll take care of it. Interesting.
I don't really like any of those, but we're going to take confidence. Anyway, we're going to be born in... Maybe the end of the first week of the second month? Sure. And we will be called Liz, because that's who we are. Our alignment. Alignment matters a lot for certain classes. The fighter has a little bit of freedom here. A lot of them, though, need to be like lawful or not lawful in the case of if you want to take an arcane trickster, although I don't think that works in this. I think you're allowed to be lawful if you're an arcane trickster. Paladins obviously need to be lawful good in this version of the game. There were non-lawful good paladins, usually lawful evil for things like, what was it, like the Dreadlord or something like that? Dread Knight, I think. I don't, Dread something was a lawful evil paladin, which was pretty good. They got to choose like vices and all these kinds of things, like they crave power or whatever. It was a really cool thing. I actually wrote a book that was inspired by sort of the D&D Dread Knight lawful evil paladin sort of thing. I think we're going to be a lawful neutral, though. I want to be lawful. I feel like neutral. Do we want to be good, guys? Do we want to be good? We're going to have some neutral party members. Neutral and good party members. Some of them are going to be chaotic. I'm going to be the bringer of law to the land. I am not necessarily going to be good. But I am going to tame the stolen lands. That is the objective. All right.
You should have run.
You should have run. Fantastic. We don't have access to cleave, but that's okay. That's our character, guys. This is absolutely not a min-max stat build, by the way. We did dump charisma, which is fine. But generally, and then we took persuasion anyway. It's okay. Generally speaking, if you're going to min-max a fighter, you would probably dump wisdom, and you would have like a paladin in your party who can provide the aura that gives you like probability of negating like you get extra stuff on your saving throws against fear, because then you don't need your will save necessarily as high, so it could be 3 lower than this. You can have a -2 will save. But we need a little bit of will save. We also aren't the general fighter archetype. The general fighter archetype has bravery, which again we don't have access to as a two-handed fighter, so we need a little bit of will to make that work. We didn't need as much int for those skill points. We probably could have dumped that. We needed 13 in order to get certain abilities. We took dex to 13. We'll improve that. You know what? No. now that I know for certain that the thing is not Dex, we are going to put it in Con, and we are going to improve our Con. Because I know Dex, we are never going to need more than 1 AC from it. Like, we're not going to wear mithril armor. We're going to be wearing, like, adamantine or whatever if we do that.
Follow if you dare.
Okay, that works better for me. We're going to have a little bit more HP. We're going to be very strong. All right, let's complete. and with this, the actual game is going to start. So I said we're not going to take like 45 minutes to build a character, guys, but we took a good chunk of time. I'll see you guys next time.